Hi guys, we're back. It's Intelligence Lectures. I'd like to welcome everyone, and if you haven't subscribed, please hit on the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you will be notified every time I upload a new video. So, without any waste of time, let me just get right into the video. So, today we'll be looking at calculus. Calculus has two main, I can say main chapters or two main classifications, I can say. We have differentiation. We have differentiation as well as integration. Integration. We have differentiation as well as integration. So in this lecture, we're not gonna be looking at integration because uh, it'll be a chapter for another day. We're just gonna be focusing on differentiation. So as you know me guys, I'm a guy of tips. I like giving out tips. I like it when we all win. So I'm just gonna give you tips so that you know how to tackle all the calculus related questions and things to solve. So we have um, okay, let me just put it like this. When we are solving calculus equations, it's like we are reducing, it's like we are differentiating, we're breaking it down. So the first rule you should put in your mind is you should take the exponent and multiply you take the exponent and multiply it with the base. Let me just write it. uh, you take the exponent, multiply it with the base, and subtract uh, subtract. Let me just put this, and let me just say exponent multiplied by the base, and then you subtract 1 on the exponent. You subtract 1 on the exponent. This is the basic uh, differentiation principle you can follow. And if you're differentiating just a variable, if you're differentiating a variable, it means if you're differentiating maybe x alone, it doesn't have x squared, it doesn't have 2x, it's just x. If you're differentiating x, then your answer is always 1. Let me explain this quite well. Since the basic principle of differentiation says we must take the exponent, multiply it by the base, and then subtract the exponent by 1, this is what it means. If we have x and you have to differentiate it, it means now, since we know that normally it's x to the exponent 1, so it means you're just going to take 1 multiplied by the base, which will be equal to 1x. Then you have that 1, you minus 1, you subtract the exponent by 1. This will mean that you're going to have 1x to the exponent 0. And if you have exponent 0, we know the answer is always 1. Even if you take your calculator and say 1 to the exponent 0, you're going to get 1. 100 to the exponent 0, you're going to get 1. So everything to the exponent 0 is 1. So it means now you're going to have 1 multiplied by 1, which is 1. That's why whenever you are differentiating a variable without a coefficient, without an exponent, the answer is 1. So again, let me say, whenever you're differentiating a number, the answer is always 0. This applies because a number doesn't have a variable, and if you're differentiating x in terms of maybe you're differentiating y in terms of x, then if a number doesn't have x, it means it's 0 because it has no x. It means we can't differentiate it, so it's 0. It's 0. So if you're differentiating a number without a variable, then it's 0. This is what we know. So now that we have all these tips, let's get into differentiation and see how we can tackle everything. And also, okay, I'm just gonna give you other tips as we're busy moving on, so please keep on watching this video so that you don't miss some of the important stuff that I'll have to outline on a later stage. So now, okay, for instance, I just want to make things simple. Let's just say you differentiate y in terms of x. It's like you're differentiating y in terms of x if y is equal to let me just say x squared. This is the basic. Then it means now we're gonna have y prime. This prime means that, okay, let me just not put it because we're differentiating. It means we have to say differentiation of y in terms of x. Now it's like I said, you take the exponent, you multiply it by the base. It means you're gonna take this 2, you multiply it by the base. The base here is 1x because we know normally it's 1x. So it means now it's 2 times 1. Then the answer is 2 because we know x is like 1x. It's like you're having 1 rand. Some people like calling it just a rand, not 1 rand, no, a rand. It's like the same thing applies. You have x. You can't just say 1x, no, it's just x. So yeah, normally it's that. So you're taking the exponent, you're multiplying by the base, which is 1, then you're gonna get 2 because this exponent is 2. Then you're gonna get 2x. Then you take the exponent, you minus 1, you subtract it by 1. So it means we're gonna have 2x because now we know that x is the same as x to the exponent 1, and as we can see now, it's x 2 minus 1, which means it's x 2 minus 1 is 1. So it's the same thing as that one, which applies that we can just write x. Now we have 2x. Then we have differentiated. So I don't know if you guys understand me or not, but if you don't, please follow me on Instagram, it's Intelligence, and just push your question there and I'll be more than happy to assist you. So now again, I want to find something to do. Let's just say we have to differentiate y in terms of x, where we have y being equal to 4x to the exponent, let me just say 8, plus square root of the cube root of square root of x cubed. So this one, okay, this one I saw it in the question paper which was written last year. So if you have the question paper, you can just put it in front of you, and if you had problems with it, now is the time to excel. So let's just say we have this kind of scenario over here, and then we have to differentiate everything here. So the tips I've given you, they still apply. Like, you're gonna take the exponent, you multiply it by the base, and then you subtract the exponent by 1. That's the basic principle. So now I believe most of you now are saying this is the problem. This is the problem if you haven't watched my previous videos. So please watch them so that you know how we break this down. So we're just gonna say y being equal to 4x to the exponent 8 plus, now we're trying to break this down, because now we know that if we have the square root of a, we are more than happy, we are delighted to say now it's a to the exponent 1 over 2. We are more than happy if you do that. So even the same thing here applies. It's like we have x cubed 1 over 2. If it was a cube root, it means we're just gonna have 1 over 3. So yeah, this is just the basic. So we're gonna have that, and then now we have y being equal to 4x8 plus x to the exponent 3 over 2. This is the basic as well, so you shouldn't forget to write the dy dx, differentiate y in terms of x. So now the dy dx means that now we are just finalizing everything. We are taking the exponent, multiplying it by the base. 8 times 4. Now 8 times 4 is 32. It's 32 x 8 minus 1 plus, again we take this 1, we multiply it by the base, which is 1 now, because now here the base was 4, now it was 1. I explained it a bit earlier. So it means we're gonna have 3 over 2 x 3 over 2 minus 1, which is gonna give us 32x 7 plus 3 over 2x 3 over 2 minus 1, let me change it, 3 over 2 minus 1, it's 1 over 2, it's 1 over 2. So you can leave it here, it depends on you, or you can just simplify it further and say 32x to the exponent 7 plus the root of you can say plus 3 over 2 the root of x, because I explained it a bit earlier how we got there and how. So you can just leave it here, or you can just continue and leave it there. That's what we know, that's what we've learned from Untitled lectures. So if you haven't subscribed, please just subscribe now, because this content is nice. We are enjoying. Mathematics is our thing. So yeah, I don't know, there's this thing we call, let me use a different marker. There's this thing there's this thing we call the first principle. This thing we call the first principle, which is defined by, this is the formula. It's x it's f x plus h minus f of x all over h. So this formula is very simple. You just have to understand a few things. This formula is just a differentiation. You're just deriving. So I'm not gonna go in much detail so that the video won't be long. You'll be able to just keep up with the pace. So this formula is simple. It's just what it implies is, wherever in a given formula, in a given equation of f, wherever you see x, you put x plus h. Simple. You put x plus h, and then you minus the equation of x, and you divide by h. Simple as this. Wherever in the equation of f, where you see x, you put x plus h, then you minus the real equation which you have been given, and then you divide by h. I forgot to write the limit here. Let me try to be a gentleman. Now I'm a gentleman. So you divide by h, like I explained it here. If you forgot it, just cram this small structure I've put at the side. Let me just not erase it for now. So let's just say we have x squared. This is okay, yeah, y is equal to x squared, and then now you have to differentiate y is equal to x squared. We know you take the exponent, you multiply it by the base, you subtract the exponent by 1. Simple. You take the exponent, you multiply it by the base. Since the base is 1, x, this is the answer. Because now we know it's going to be 2 minus 1, which is 1. And then here we had 1, 2 minus multiplied by 1 is 2. Then this is the differentiation of y. So we know that the final answer should be 2x. So we need to find this 2x using this formula. This means that whatever we are doing now is we are just taking the exponent, we multiply it by the base, and then we subtract the exponent by 1. It means this theory has been driven or has been carried out by this first principle. It means this first principle was designed for us to be able to arrive at this 2x. So if in an exam paper you are coming across a question like this, you just have to know in the equation of f, because they're gonna give you f, in the equation of f, let's just say, let me just make this job simple, f of x. In this equation, where you see x, you put x plus h, and then you minus the real equation which you have been given, which is this one, and you divide everything by h. Then at the end, you're just gonna say you substitute h with 0 after simplifying and adding like terms, subtracting like terms. Then you put h as 0, and then you arrive at your answer. So let me just try to be faster here. Here we already know the answer. The answer is 2x, but we want to arrive there. So let's do it using this formula. This formula, there's no need to cram it, but if you're good in maths, you can cram it. But if you're not, just let it go. It's there. You're gonna find it there at the back of your question paper. So you just have to relax. Mathematics provide. So now we're just gonna have, don't forget to write the limit. This limit, the lim where h approaches 0, you just have to write this up until the end where you replace h by 0. You just have to write, don't forget it. So in the formula, in the formula of x, we should replace x with x plus h. So it means since it's x squared, now it's gonna be x plus h all squared minus the original equation, which is x squared all over h. This is not toxic. You just have to understand it. And again, you're just gonna say lim. Now you're just solving everything. If you can get this first part right, then you're good to go. Then now you're just gonna have x squared plus 2xh plus h squared minus x squared all over h. So this one, if maybe some of you are still shocked because of this, whatever is happening here, it's like this one, we know that it's equal to, I'm talking about this first bracket, we know that it's like x plus h, x plus h, because it's x plus h squared. So when you multiply through, you're gonna have x squared, because it's this one times this one, again times this one, plus xh, then you take this one times this one, get plus xh again, and then this one and this one as x squared. Then now you just know that this one and this one will add each other up, and then it's just x squared plus 2xh plus x squared, which is what I've just written there. I was just trying to simplify it so that those of you who are still surprised, you know that, oh, it's just distribution rule, which I explained in the first video. If you haven't checked it, you can check it. Again, we have simultaneous equations, you can check them as well. We have geometry, you can check it as well. So just keep up with the pace so that you know where we are, how we are moving, and how fast we are moving. Yeah, so back into the back to this first principle. Now we know that we have this, so we can see that this is x squared, this is x squared. We take it with its sign, so this is x squared minus x squared. It means these ones will cancel. Simple as that. I believe this is the simplest. So you're just gonna say the limit when h approaches 0, these ones are out, then we are left with 2xh plus h squared all over h. Then when we reach this point, you can see that this h and this h out. Then allow me to erase this part so that I can finish this one. So now this h and this h are out, then we have the limit when h approaches 0, then we have 2x plus h squared, plus h squared, because now we no longer have a denominator. That's that. So now we're gonna do away with this, because now we are finished with everything. Then it means now we just have to substitute h with 0. Now it has approached 0, because we've been saying when the limit approaches, when the limit of f when h approaches 0, when the limit of x when the way we've been doing. Now h is the limit of x now, because h has approached 0. So now we are no longer writing this, we're just saying now we are replacing 2x plus h, we put 0 squared, which will be 2x, because now we can see that here we have 0 squared, which will just be 0, and then we are left with 2x, which is this 2x over there. So with this information, I believe you're good and you're still breathing, and you have noticed that with this first principle, it describes the differentiation, which I've just explained, that you take the exponent, you multiply it by the base, and then you subtract the exponent by 1. It just describes it in full details, as opposed to this one, because it makes things simpler. This is the first principle rule. I don't know if you guys want me to continue or not, but if you still want more content based on these two things I have just outlined, the first principle as well as the differentiation rule, you can talk to me. It's a Catalygens. I'll be more than happy. And if you have any questions, you can put them in the description, in the comment section below, and I'll be more than happy to assist you. So with that being said, until we meet next time, thanks for your attention.